Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Larry the Batman fan here, and I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be covering my Sega Genesis games. My Sega Genesis collection has actually grown. I've got around 50 games, unless you minus a few duplicates. When you buy them in lots, you can't really help. You can't really help that, you know. So there is a few doubles in here, but I'll probably give those to my girlfriend. I'll probably just give them to her so that way she can play them on her Sega Genesis, because there's no point in trading games into the game stores around here. They don't give you enough for store credit or cash. So I'll probably just pass them on to her. I know a lot of people want me to do more gaming videos and stop the rant videos. I know they've been complaining, saying I talk too much about rant videos and I'm too negative. Well, consider this fan service that I'm actually going to be talking about games instead of ranting on people. I just do it because I want to expose them. Excuse me. But in this video, we're going to show you my Genesis games. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and grab yourself some popcorn or some chips or whatever food you got, and grab yourself some water, juice, or soda, and just enjoy, you know. So anyways, here we go. I have 5 or 6 box games. I've got Justice League Task Force on Genesis. Um, I do like this game. I think it's pretty good. Sadly, it gets a lot of hate. But I didn't think it was a bad fighting game. The only thing that it needed was a few more DC characters, because really all you get is Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Green Arrow, Superman, and Batman. There's no Green Lantern, there's no Robin, and there's no Blue Beetle, and you don't get Green. Oh wait, I already said that. You don't get Green Lantern. You don't get Supergirl in here. You know, they could have had a few more DC characters in here, but it's not as bad as everyone says. I actually enjoy it. I think it's a pretty good game. I got this game back when the Pastime Legends on Lark Street was closing down, so they were having half off a lot of their games. Sega Genesis games, the NES games were half off, so I only paid like $12 for this game, so it's not bad to have a complete copy. Formula One Racing. My girlfriend also has this game, but loose cart. This game, yeah, another game I picked up at Pastime Legends before they shut that store down. But it's an okay racing game. It wasn't bad. I played it for a little while. The only thing is that it's very easy to bump into shit. I mean, like, turn to the right just a little bit and then end up crashing into something, hitting a pole or hitting another car in front of me, trying to get past it. Other than that, it's not a bad game. Jurassic Park for Sega Genesis. What a good licensed game this is. Sega! Let me try that one more time just in case it sounded poorly. Sega! That's literally what the T-Rex says in this game when you first boot it up. I got this game for half off, complete in the box, even though it doesn't have a manual. And they made these crappy cardboard boxes. I don't think they came with manuals. I think it's just the cartridge and the box. I know a lot of collectors hate that, because like when you stack them up with all those like clamshell boxes, you got that shit. It stands out like a sore thumb that there were games like Jurassic Park and Monopoly and a bunch of other games that were like this in this crappy cardboard box. But anyways, the game is decent in my opinion. It's not a bad game. I like it. It's hard as hell later on in the game, but it's not bad. You can play as Grant or you can play as the T-Rex. And yeah, it's enjoyable. A lot better than the Sega CD version. And I know they also did one on Game Boy, which wasn't that great. And the one on NES wasn't really that great either. And then I know that they've done a Jurassic Park game on PS1 and Sega Saturn, and they also did a Jurassic Park game for the original Xbox, which that game is pretty rare. So that game was around 100 or 200 bucks. So it's around that price range. It might have dropped a little bit. And then there's the two Jurassic Park games on PS4. They made a lot of Jurassic Park games. Road Rash 2. This is a pretty fun game. You're in a motorcycle. You're racing down this path. And you're hitting people with bats and clubs and crowbars. And it's a lot of fun. I really like this game. It's a good game. There's multiplayer in this game too down here, 2-player mode. You didn't get that in the first game though, but the second and third game on Genesis have that. So, great game. And I got it for half price. Look at that, 26. I did not pay 26. And then I got Urban Strike, which is part of the Strike series. There's Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, and Nuclear Strike, which Nuclear Strike is on Sega Saturn and PS1. I think it was on Sega Saturn. Maybe it was on Dreamcast, I'm not sure. I know it was on PS1, most definitely. This game is just like a top-down perspective type of game where you're in a helicopter and you're just like blowing things up and you're doing mission objectives. It wasn't bad. Not a bad game at all. I have played the other two as well, Desert Strike and Jungle Strike, and they weren't bad either. The Tick, I still have not played this game yet. I just recently got this game, but it's a licensed game, so it could suck monkey ass, or it could actually be pretty good. But the TV show was really good. Phantasy Star 3, this is a nice ad. I do have this on the Sega Genesis collection for PS4. It does have Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4. But to have this physically is pretty nice because this is an expensive game. It's around 40 bucks. So that's nice. 40 to 50 bucks to have that. Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics picked this up at Mr. Deals for $12.99. Mr. Deals, Pastime Legends, and J Street Video Games are like the only places in my area that have like retro games since Replay is gone. Oh wait, no, I forgot. There's also Shroomies. They sell retro games as well. So we got 4 places, but Replay is now dead, so can't really go there for my games. I have to go to one of those places I mentioned. Or GameStop, but I can only get new games, and that's not always what I want. I don't always want new games. I want old shit too. But anyways, Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics is not a bad game. Jumping is a little off though, and you can't always see what's ahead of you, so you end up falling in the pit and dying when you're running, trying to jump over something you don't always know. So that was a gaming flaw. But other than that, it's not a bad game. Tasmania was okay. Samurai Showdown, this is a good fighting game. On Genesis, I don't mind this game. It's not bad. It's hard, but it's good. And the fighting mechanics in the game are actually quite fair. One of the better fighting games on Sega Genesis. Bugs Bunny and Double Trouble. This is when they tried to do 3D Looney Tunes type of games, because this game came out, I think, 1996. So it's towards the end of the Genesis lifestyle. It's an okay game. I played it a few times, but I never got very far. Sega 6-pack, or 6-pack as it's called. Yeah, Genesis 6-pack. You get a bunch of games. You get Sonic the Hedgehog 1, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, Revenge of Shinobi, Columns, and Super Hang-On. All pretty decent games, except Columns, because I'm not a big puzzle fan. I don't really like puzzle games that much, except Tetris and Dr. Mario. But it's pretty good. Miles, don't rub on that drink. Don't knock that over, buddy. Sorry, that's my cat. Don't want him knocking over stuff. Anyways, this is a good game. I like this game. I think most of these games you could get on the PS3 compilation disc, though, or the PS4 Sega Genesis compilation disc. Miss Pac-Man. Gotta love Miss Pac-Man. Classic. If you don't know what Miss Pac-Man is, you've been living under a rock. Justice League Task Force. I have a double. That one's going to my girlfriend, since I have a double. Oh, shoot. There goes the stack. Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure. That one's also going to my girlfriend. This is a good game. I don't mind this game. It's not a bad Pitfall game. Pretty fun. Subterranea or Tyrannia. Got this at Mr. Deal's, $10. This is for my girlfriend as well, because I have 2 copies of it. But it's a good game, but you got to get used to the controls, because the controls are weird playing this ship game. But eventually you get the hang of it. It's kind of like RC Pro-Am on NES. It feels weird at first, but eventually you get used to the driving mechanics. Same thing with this, but you're in a ship. Incredible Hulk. This game sucks. I mean, this is terrible. I mean, it could have been so much better, but it sucks. You want a good Hulk game, play the Hulk game on PS2. Hulk Ultimate Destruction. That's a good Hulk game. Judge Dredd. This game also sucks. It's confusing. The level design is not very clear where you gotta go. And unless you like use YouTube to like look up where to go, then you're gonna get lost a lot of times in this game. I don't recommend this game. Probably better to watch the Stallone movie that this is based off of, because this game sucks. Fatal Labyrinth, one of the early RPG games on the system. Wanted an RPG game, and this was like one of the cheapest ones to get. It's pretty good. I recommend it. Mom, I think the pizza's here. Hello, the pizza's here. Mick and Mac Global Gladiators. Pretty good game. Or no, I said this is a pretty good game. No, it's not a good game. It's crap. It's a crappy game. Not worth playing. It's terrible. Hold on a second. Mom, would you get the door? The pizza's here. I already paid with my credit card. Oh. Hey, sorry about that, folks. We ordered pizza today. So I was trying to get my mom's attention. Anyways, back into the video. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is actually a pretty good license game. Pretty good fighting game. Kind of like the show, you know. You fight on the ground and then you fight in a mech, and it's good. Not a bad game. Not a bad license game. They got a few license games right on Genesis. Cool spot. I only got this game because it was cheap. I haven't played it yet, but I will play it soon. I've heard that this game is just mediocre. Like, it's not a really good game. They basically wanted to have like 7-Up make like a video game, and they put it on Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, and they just shipped them out by the thousands. But I haven't played it, but I have heard it's mediocre. I heard it's not a very good platformer. Okay, now we got Sonic Classics, which has Sonic the Hedgehog 1, 2, and Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine. I'm not a big fan of Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, but Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 are excellent. Very fun. Very fast character, and definitely puts Sega on the map. Sonic is a icon for Sega. That's why Sega still has the rights to Sonic, because they want Sonic, because Sonic made them very successful and brought in a lot of money. Great game. Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition. Excellent game. My girlfriend also has this game. Yeah, I'll be down in a minute. Excellent game. I highly recommend it. Very good game. A lot of fun. The fighting mechanics are fair. The gameplay is fun. And if anybody pisses you off, be sure to give them a sure you can. Yeah. Had to give you guys a little humor here. Terminator 2, the arcade game. Not bad. I remember playing this in the arcades back in the day, and it was pretty fun. It's good. Plays a lot better on Genesis than it does on Super Nintendo. But I like it. It's good. Good license game. There was a Terminator 2 Judgment Day based off that movie, which that movie was an excellent action movie. That game sucked. That game was horrible. But that one is surprisingly good. So Sonic Spinball, excellent Sonic pinball game, very fun. I highly recommend this game. It's good. If you like pinball type of games and you don't mind playing a Sonic, and that the game is a little bit different than the typical Sonic games, it's still a blast. I highly recommend it. Very good. Eternal Champions. The fighting mechanics, they kind of suck. But I don't think Eternal Champions is the worst fighting game on Genesis. The worst fighting game is probably Beast Wrestler. That's the worst fighting game on Genesis that you could play. But Eternal Champions does have some unfair fighting mechanics in the game. And the difficulty challenge rather, gets too hard too quickly. It's definitely like Art of Fighting. You can get your ass kicked pretty quickly in this game. But I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. I picked it up for only like $3, I think. I got it half off. I got it for like $3. So I mean, for $3, it's worth it. I'd say if you get it up to like $5, it's still worth it. I mean, that's not bad for a fighting game. That cheap. Depressing. A beat up cover here. I had to tape it because the cover was falling off. When I got this off a lot, it had like 5 or 6 games in the lot. But it's Beavis and Butthead. I've heard from the Angry Video Game Nerd that this is a crappy game. It has a lot of problems, a lot of issues. The weapons you get in the game are really dumb and stupid and just not fun. The enemies that you stun in the game, they only stay stunned for like 5 seconds, and if you don't walk past them, they just like strangle you. And I just have heard it's unfair, it's unbalanced, and that it sucks. I haven't played it yet, so I don't really know, but I'm going to play that game eventually and see what the nerd is talking about. NBA Jam. I don't really like sports games. If you guys have been following me, you know I don't like sports games, but there's no denying here that NBA Jam Tournament Edition, and NBA Hang Time on Sega Genesis are classic. Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I got this in a lot with some other games. This one's actually pretty expensive. The seller must not have known that, because I got it for this with like 4 or 5 other games for like $50. And this game is around a $40 game. It's a good game. Definitely challenging. And the title is a bit of a lie, because some of the characters that you fight in the game are not zombies. Probably should have been called Monsters Ate My Neighbors, because there's more than zombies in the game. But the game is pretty good. I mean, it's made by Konami, you know. Konami kicks ass. Konami knew how to make good games. So did Acclaim. A lot of Acclaim's games were pretty good, but except for like Batman Forever, that game was terrible. Mortal Kombat 2. This was the first M-rated Sega Genesis game, technically, unless you count the first Mortal Kombat or Lethal Enforcers. But Mortal Kombat 2 was excellent. Very good fighting game. Definitely controversial because of the violence in the game, the blood and the gore. But so it definitely set the standards back then for fighting games. This and Street Fighter, and they know that these were excellent games. And Samurai Showdown's not bad, and Fatal Fury. Those are the top 4 best fighting games on Sega Genesis. But yeah, Mortal Kombat is a great game. Mortal Kombat 2, I mean. Greatest heavyweights. I'm giving this to my girlfriend. I know the cover's all gone, so I had to put this on there and tape it. But it's a good boxing game. It's probably the best boxing game that was released on Genesis. This and Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing. All the other boxing games, they pretty much sucked on Sega Genesis. But this one's really good. I like that you can create your own character and make them look like the Hulk in the game. Or make them blue, you know. That was cool. And I don't even like boxing games like that, but that one's really good. Flashback, The Quest for Identity, very good game. One of the games that actually implemented the 3D in the game to make it a more interesting game. They were really trying to do 3D on Genesis, but really, to be honest with you guys, 3D was not perfected on Genesis at all. It wasn't perfected well until like N64. Like, before that, they tried, but it just didn't look quite 3D. But Flashback is a great game. This one I'm giving to my girlfriend because I have it on Super Nintendo. Of course, I'm giving her this too. Sonic 3D Blast. Not as good as the other Sonic games, Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. And Sonic Spinball, but this one was okay too. It's not a bad Sonic game. That one gets a lot of hate for some reason. I don't know why, but it does. Road Rash 2, another copy for Christine. Subterranea, my copy. I already talked about it, so I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to move on. Super Street Fighter 2, also excellent. As you can see, there's this, and there was the other one I showed earlier in this video. I think there was another one. It was the Turbo Edition. The Turbo Edition one was pretty good, too. I don't know if they released that one on Sega Genesis, though. It might have just been on Super Nintendo. Monopoly. I love Monopoly on Sega Genesis. It's a blast. The Super Nintendo version is very similar, except in the Super Nintendo version, there's a cheat where you can set your money up to like $5,000 and give like the computer only $1 and see if the computer could survive for a long period of time. You cannot do that in the Genesis version of the game. Other than that, it's basically the same game on Super Nintendo that it is on Genesis. But the game is fun and I like it a lot. It's also on the NES. I do have the NES version of it. That one's okay, but the graphics are worse than the Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo version. I also like the Monopoly game on N64. All the other Monopoly games that they made, they're not that great. Star Control, the first one, excellent game. I don't know if I'm to call this a ship game or if I'm to call it a like RPG. Maybe it's both, but yeah, it's good. And this is an uncommon Sega Genesis game. I haven't seen this anywhere. I got that on eBay for like $20. Actually, no, I think I got it for less than that because I got it in a lot with like 4 or 5 other games. Miss Pac-Man. I got a second copy. Aladdin. This is a good licensed game. I really like this game. There's a cheat in this game that a lot of people don't know about. Press the start button on the Genesis controller and hit ABBA twice. You can go to any level you want in this game. The game later on really does get hard. That lava level was a bitch. I mean, I could not get over those jumps. Some of those jumps are really hard to master, from jumping from one spot to the other without falling. But for a platform game, it's excellent, and it definitely plays well on Sega Genesis. It's better than the Super Nintendo version, because this version you get a sword. Good license game. Really recommend it. Chuck Rock is the weirdest platform game ever. I mean, you fuck things just to kill them. Like, you have to hump the crap out of things just to kill the enemies. Like, that's pretty stupid. But the game's okay. It's not a great platformer. Green Dog, the Beach Surfer dude. This game sucks. Stay away from this game. It sucks. If you watch the Angry Video Game Nerd, you'll see how unfair and unbalanced and how brutal this game is. Like, this game just sucks. Blockout, puzzle game. Never played it. I've had it in my collection for a while, just never played it. Olympic Gold. X-Men 2, The Clone Wars, very good game. I like this game. It's a lot of fun. The only thing that's kind of stupid is that when you pop this game in, it just boots up, like, without no start screen or anything. Like, that's just weird. Like, no game does that. This is the only one I know that just does that. Just throws you right in. You're fighting enemies. You're fighting mechs and stuff. But other than that, it's a very good game. I think it was based off the TV show or the comic book line, but it's good. Kid Chameleon, rather. This is a good game. He plays this kid who's like got these cool glasses and stuff. Nice. This is definitely a 90s game, as you know. Screams 90s. But the game premise is it's a platform game where you're like this boy, you kill enemies, and when you start getting stronger, you can turn into a chameleon and kick all sorts of butt. It's pretty good. I like it. You can also get that on the Sega Genesis collection thing on PS3 or PS4. Super Smash TV rather. I'd buy that for $1. Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Excellent. Yeah, this is a good shooting game. I like it. Pretty good. Pretty fun. You could also get that on Super Nintendo. But it's a good game. I recommend it. Weapon Lord, haven't played it, but I know it's a fighting game. Got this for like $15-16 off of eBay. It's made by Namco, so it can't be that bad. We'll see. I'll play it eventually and give you all my thoughts on it. Shadow Dancer, The Secret of Shinobi, excellent game. Great Shinobi game, great ninja game. Double Dribble, the Playoff Edition. Haven't played it, but the Double Dribble game on NES, that game sucks. I hate that game, and I don't understand why so many people like that game, because I never did. But it could be a decent game for all I know. Jungle Strike, the sequel to Desert Strike, pretty good game. I like it. X-Men 2, got a double of that. That one's for my girlfriend. Lethal Enforcers, excellent shooting game. Very good game. It kicks ass. I like it. Very fun. Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure. Very good platformer. Very colorful. Graphics definitely hold up pretty well. And the gameplay is fun. So that's all that matters. I know there's 2 other Tiny Toons games on the NES. Those are also good. And there was one on PlayStation 1, but that one's not very good. You gotta get the one on Sega Genesis and the ones on NES. Tin Head, platform game where you throw bombs out of your head and you fight these like ridiculous enemies like the ice cream cones and stuff. I don't mind this game. It was one of the first Sega Genesis games I played. It was pretty good. I liked it. The premise of the game is basically you're playing as Tin Head and you're trying to save your girlfriend from this evil guy who wants control over the world. But I never beat it. It's pretty damn hard later on. But it's a fun game. And it's very cute. So I like Tin Head. Good platformer. If there's anybody that hates Tin Head, I don't know why. because I like Tin Head. And I don't know why they didn't put that on the Sega Genesis collection. That really should have been spotlighted, highlighted. Championship Pro-Am, basically an RC Pro-Am in the RC Pro-Am series rather, but very good. I highly recommend it. RoboCop versus the Terminator. Hell yeah. Gotta love it. Excellent game. Very fun shooting game. Side-scrolling shooter with RoboCop and Terminator. Excellent. And to end it, I have WWF Raw and I have WWF Royal Rumble. And they're both very fun wrestling games. I know there's also WWF, the arcade game, and then the WWF Super WrestleMania, which I have on Super Nintendo. But they were made by Flying Edge. The Super Nintendo versions were made by LJN, but they surprisingly were not so bad on the Super Nintendo either. But it's sad. A lot of these wrestlers are dead. You know, like Macho Man Randy Savage, rest in peace. Razor Ramon, rest in peace. You know, a lot of dead wrestlers in there. But they're fun, and I enjoy them for sports games. So that's everything I got to show from my Genesis collection. I hope you guys enjoyed. I do also want to say that I do have the Sega Genesis PS4 disc game. Sega Genesis collection for PS4. So technically I do have more, but it's on one disc. So I know that's kind of cheating as well, but whatever. So anyways, that's all of my Sega Genesis games as you see here scattered on the floor. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for more videos. God bless you and have a great day. Peace.